We'll start with you, Jake. You're on the big screen, you're on the TV. It's a kind of different vibe to when you're racing on screen because you're covered by a helmet, you're in a car. This is a whole new look into your life.
Yeah, obviously it started off obviously coming from the season 9 champion. So yeah, the first episode was quite heavily featured from myself, and then it obviously kind of tailed off pretty quickly from my side with Antonio's story going on. But no, it was obviously a good insight to sort of how my off season was, and then obviously coming into season 10 and the sort of pressure I was feeling, and it was really insightful for the fans to get a true representation of, you know, behind the scenes, what it's like inside the garage, back at home. And yeah, it was a good watch. So I think, yeah, Formula E did a good job. Obviously, we always want more episodes to really provide the best insight possible. But yeah, I think overall for a first attempt, we did very well.
What do you personally want the audience, and maybe specifically a new audience, to take away from racing and the world of Formula E?
I think the biggest thing is trying to get our personalities across and see that we are just like, yeah, normal guys. And, you know, yes, you see us a lot with the helmet on and stuff like that. But I think that's what really engages the fans to come back and watch more. And, you know, the Formula E racing itself doesn't really need much explanation. You know, I think what we is very exciting and probably one of the best motorsport categories to watch in terms of excitement. So I think the aspect, if they tune in and watch a race, they'll always come back, but it's obviously trying to get them to engage in the first aspect, and I think we're slowly doing that more and more. But yeah, obviously the goal is to keep providing insight to Formula E and yeah, moving the whole project along as one, really.
Excellent stuff. We'll move on to you, Dan. An Easter egg for people watching at home. Dan's wearing the shoes that were referenced in one episode of this documentary. Thank you for doing that, Dan. I appreciate that. Do you feel that you were accurately portrayed in this docu-series?
Yes and no, if I'm honest.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, I will definitely elaborate. I think, to be honest, we're all going to say similar things with these answers. I think Jake summed it up pretty well. I think it's obviously very important that we, you know, try and get our personalities across as well as possible. I mean, obviously, I have a certain history, so it's very easy for, you know, people who are editing things to sort of push a narrative. The problem is I still give them some ammo to push that narrative. That's fine, I'm cool with that. I go to sleep well at night now, so it's fine. But overall, I think they did a really good job, I have to say. I really enjoyed filming it. We did a lot of stuff, unfortunately, didn't make the cut because it's only 4 episodes, so I'd like to see more episodes, I think.
Spin-off?
I don't know, like there's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff that isn't in there. Yeah, maybe for the best. But there's also some stuff like where I'm actually genuinely being sort of a bit more down to earth, and a lot of that didn't make the cut. But overall, I think people see that, you know, I am what I am, and I just am what I am. Yeah. So, you know, I think that part's good. It's good.
There was an emotional moment from your mum.
Yes.
How do you feel about, you know, letting the cameras in to see your family life, your private life? Because obviously that aids the documentary, but obviously it is your private life.
Yeah, I think it was great that was put in, actually. I think a lot of people forget how much stress and strain is put on a family. You know, it depends on the family. Like, you know, my background, we're all right, but there's some families who are billionaires who do it. But, you know, my dad putting the amount of money that we had to stopped a lot of things from happening in our family, like caused some problems, like between the kids and everything. So it puts a lot of stress on a family, and, you know, mum's obviously seen that firsthand, and she gets upset when she sees all the, I can't swear anymore, can I? All the rubbish I get. So, you know, yeah.
I appreciate that.
Cool.
It's self-censoring. Love that. Just a reminder that if you are watching at home, and for people in the room, you will be able to ask questions in the next 5 minutes or so. So please send them in if you're watching remotely. We'll move on to Mitch, and it's good that we speak here, Mitch, because this is Monaco, this is where you live, and this is featured very much in this documentary. And it must have been great for you to have had it documented, a very successful year for you last year.
Yeah, this is the race that kind of, I was able to turn my season around. And obviously a very special place for many reasons. So yeah, it was nice to document that. My mum was over for that race as well. She travelled over last minute for that one, so it was cool to capture some content with her. But yeah, it's a special event, and coming back here for a second year is obviously, it's nice to come back as the reigning winner, I guess. But yeah, to get all that inside information, I think definitely added value to that to my episode, or the episode that it was in.
The documentary kind of features a lot of camaraderie, but also rivalry between you. What is the dynamic, genuinely, between the drivers in the paddock? Because there are heated moments, but from my perspective and other people who are here all the time, it does seem like you generally all get on.
I wouldn't say all, but
Generally.
I think the majority are, we're very we socialize a lot, with each other outside the track. Some guys I don't need to be seen outside the track as well. So I think it's quite a healthy championship from that point of view. But there is definitely some rivalries that or certain drivers that you're a bit more maybe on track with, or you're not as friendly with them. So yeah, but I think it's good to show that side. Obviously, sport always needs some rivalry and some kind of, say, bad blood or a bit of tension to create a bit of drama. So yeah, I think compared to other sports, we're maybe not quite there with the rivalry side, but it's definitely, as the championship does, evolve and keep growing, you'll start to form more and more of these rivalries between teams and also between drivers.
Obviously, the last episode is very probably tough for you to watch. How did you feel when you first watched it back, featuring London?
Yeah, unfortunately, it brings up memories that you want to kind of forget and move on and not experience again. So tough. A lot of things were left out though in that last race, which would have been nice to have in there, just to understand the full picture of from my side of the situation. But I think it still gives an idea of what went down. Everyone's going to have their own opinion on it. I've got mine. I can't say it.
Another spin-off coming, yeah?
Yeah. But yeah, look, it's I just hope the fans enjoy watching it. Obviously, I come off, second best in terms of from a result point of view. And I think it is a bit heartbreaking to watch, especially for Nick as well. So, but that just shows that's, it is sport, but also shows the impact it can have on us. And it's happened to me multiple times in this championship. So it was definitely a lot of frustration trying to build up. And then almost the closest it kind of was going to happen, it was, when it gets pulled under your feet, it's tricky.
Yeah, I imagine it's very tough to talk about it so soon after as well. Thank you very much, Mitch. I'll move on to you, Antonio. You very much like Mitch, and I know you all shared kind of, moments of your season, but there were some very vulnerable moments that you shared on your journey last year, which we're all aware of in the room, and I'm sure people watching at home. Was there anything that you felt was maybe a bit too far that you didn't want to share in the documentary?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was, when the guys called me and they pitched the idea to me and they asked me what kind of access you want to give, I said 100%. And, luckily my family was on board as well, so we were able to. And I think if you're going to do a show like this, it's the only way to do it. I think we've all seen, the documentary on F1, on NASCAR, on the golfing, so we know what people want to see. It's not about rewatching the races, but it's about showing what are we feeling, what goes on between races and our ups and downs. And yeah, I mean, my story was probably the best ever moment in terms of a TV show that it could have happened. It almost felt scripted, to be honest, but I was suffering through it, in a good way. I mean, this is sports, you lose and you win, and when you lose, you're angry and you try to find your way back to winning, and that happened, and I think this, it came out all right, but I'm just happy that we've done it well. Yes, it does feature four drivers more than the others, but it does include a little bit of everyone as well, and it's a little bit of a different format than the other shows that we've been used to seeing the last 5 or 6 years, and yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of public we can attract. I think the fans that are already our fans and that already follow us they will become bigger fans, but I think the main goal is to try and show the people that are not watching Formula E at the moment that, you know, a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes and hopefully attract them to watch our next races.
Were there any moments, and I think we saw a slight hint of it, I think off the top of my head it was Berlin, were there any moments that you really didn't want the cameras around you? Because there were some very tough moments for you.
Yeah, look, I understand we have to Americanize ourselves and put a bit of salt and pepper on everything, and I try to do that whenever I can. There was that moment with Jake. For many reasons, I got angry that day because I didn't feel like I was in the wrong. Obviously, Jake was very, very angry, and we were very hot after the race, and it was difficult to. We had a heated moment between us, but I was angry that Jake was angry, and you know the guys with the cameras tried to talk to me like right after that moment, and I think that was the only time throughout the whole time that I said, yeah, not right now, because I'm gonna be rude to them, and I didn't want to do that. So, but again, I think their job is to try and annoy us, try and be there when we don't want them there, because those are the moments that will sell, you know. So I understand everything, and I do tell them that, like, annoy us and be on our backs, and whenever we're angry, just film that, you know. We do have to take in mind that there's a lot of sponsors in our shirts that we need to protect, our brands that we represent we need to protect, so we can't just do and say whatever we want, and we have to think about brands that we need to look after, protect, and that are our partners as well. So it needs to be a combination of being politically correct and just being on that gray area as much as possible to make the show interesting for everybody.
And finally, and we'll move on to some questions from people in the room and people watching at home right now. What does your mum make of it, and is she looking forward to being on the big screen?
She hasn't seen it.
Really?
I mean, I obviously have I have the links to go and to watch it before it goes live tomorrow. But I didn't send it to any of my family. Only my brother watched it with me. And I do want them to just watch as normal fans. I think my mom's gonna love it. You know, she's a big racing fan, and we have a bit of racing history in the family. You know, her three brothers, my uncles, to this day, they're the only three brothers that did Le Mans together in the same car. So there is a little bit of racing heritage in the family. And you know, she obviously like all of our moms and Dan's moms, they get emotional, they get angry when things go wrong with us, and they think the whole world is against us, and you know, they are very biased, you know, and
of course.
of course. So yeah, it'll be fun to see their reactions, and not only my mom, but also, you know, friends, and just to see how it impacts our Formula E history in the future.
Awesome stuff. Right, we'll take one question from the room while we take a look at some of our virtual questions. So if anyone would like to ask a question, you can raise your hand. I believe Nick is first.
Have you guys watched it? Just so you have watched it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick Aldi from Racing News 365. Question to all four of you, of course. As you pointed out, some things made the edit, some things didn't. From the overall docu-series, are you happy with the way you've been portrayed as individuals?
Do you want me to? I can go first if you want. Largely, yes. Like, I think I'm going to do an Elon Musk and just sit here and think 15 seconds before. I don't know. I don't think there was enough episodes. I think there was more of it. It was cut too much, I think, in my opinion, a little bit. But, you know, I want to keep things positive. I think overall it was very well done. I think, you know, I definitely fell into my narrative a bit. But I'd like to have seen more of the other stuff that we filmed, like I said earlier. So if we do another one, or I think we are doing another one, I'd like to see sort of more long form, like, content, less cuts, and that'd be better, in my opinion.
Yeah, ultimately I think so. You know, I think a season 9 Jake Dennis to a season 10 Jake Dennis would have come across quite differently. You know, there was only maybe 1 or 2 highlights from season 10 and then a lot of negatives. So from my side, it was, the champion, but then quite an aggressive fall to P7. Ultimately, I think it came across well. Obviously, my girlfriend, my other half, is involved as well. So I think she came across better than I did. Ultimately, I think they're the scenes which, you know, the Berlin scene with me and my engineer, you know, I think they're the scenes what really bring, you know, your emotion across and get people to watch it, basically. So I wouldn't change anything. I completely agree with Dan that we always want more episodes. But obviously, we also have to be realistic with the cost and everything like this. But yeah, hopefully we can keep improving this type of series and make it better and better.
Yes. I think it's, yeah. I think I am a very transparent person, whether I have a microphone in front of me or not. So, yeah, I think the short answer is yes.
Yeah, I think so. I guess, it's up for the public to answer that, I would say. Look, I think we're all ourselves in the documentary, and that's all you can really do. And if someone doesn't, if people don't like that, you can't please everyone. So I think I was a little bit surprised with how much I swear, but I shouldn't also be surprised, because I know I swear a lot. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I think, look, I came across as myself, so I hope that's portrayed in a good way.
Thank you very much, Nick. We'll just ask a couple of questions that have come in online, and you can keep sending your questions in. This is from Jessica Lester. People give their thoughts on the sport online all the time, but now you've opened up more of your life to the fans. Are you worried about what people might have to say about the series? I'm assuming she means about the docu-series, but maybe Formula E as well. So has giving more away about yourselves made you worried about this at all?
I don't think there's much I haven't given away about myself, so... What do you mean about the series? I'm a bit confused about how it's phrased.
The whole goal about it is, I hope people think it's crazy and bad or good, because the more, the worst in times, like if people think, wow, that's outrageous and they've really opened the doors or whatever, like I think they will tell their friends, and their friends will gonna come and watch. If they just say, yeah, it's just a normal show or whatever, then it's not really going far. So hopefully, yes, it's.
I think Jessica may also be sort of alluding to the fact that there are other docu-series out there with other sports, and maybe you compare things, I would imagine. So thank you for your questions, Jessica. We've got a couple more here. This is from Eugenio Augusto Brito. Hello, everyone. 2 questions on behalf of Emmanuel Colombari from Band in Brazil. Origato. No, that's Japanese. Obrigado. That's Portuguese.
Well done, mate.
Sorry, Antonio.
Smooth.
Sorry. Well, anyone watching in Tokyo, hello.
Well, we're there soon, so...
At least Antonio understood me vaguely there. Having you guys, you've taken part in these launch episodes now. The fans are going to love it. Are you already looking forward to season 2? Has there been any discussion on season 2? That's the first question.
Can we say?
Good question, yeah, I don't
I think this was
let's
very
put-
clear.
If there was a season 2, would you be up for doing it?
I'd love to do it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Positivity. What if there was a season 2, which there might be, might not be? What would you like to see in the season 2? I think you kind of alluded to maybe a little bit more episodes. Is there anything
Just
particular?
less cuts. Like, I just think more... There's a lot of cutting that they've had to do, so...
It's more of you.
More TikToks?
Yeah.
It's just what you want.
Yeah.
5 hours of Dan TikTok.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Hell yeah. No, because I just think there's just more genuine stuff where you see more of the maybe side that you don't see of me that often. Like, just because in the media they always put the sensationalist stuff out, and there was some really good interviews I think I did away from the track and that weren't like in there, and yeah, so that
Excellent.
kind of stuff.
Okay. I'd like to see where Antonio's drive landed.
You'd like to see what?
Where your tee shot landed.
Oh,
We saw
yeah.
the tee shot and then we saw it land.
On the
You
flag.
can't
On
see
the,
it
on the
land.
flag,
It's
man.
gone.
On the flag.
Of course.
Hitting a driver on the green.
It was
Yeah,
the driving
great.
range, so there's
Yeah.
lots of
Oh,
flags.
was it? Okay. I wasn't
On
looking
one
that closely. Alice Alves, I'm not going to do any kind of welcome to this one. This one is for Dan Ticktum. Last season was quite a roller coaster for you on the track, and the show definitely shows that. But I'd like to know how the invitation to be part of Driver came about, and what it was for you like, what it is like for you to be involved in the filming process.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to call last season a roller coaster, I mean, it was peaks and troughs, but I mean, it was pretty much trough of the whole thing. So, yeah, it wasn't great. But I don't know, it just sort of happened. I think they asked me like relatively early on in the season, and I didn't really know. I don't think we even knew then that it was going to become like an Amazon, show. And I certainly didn't at the start. So I was just being me, which has probably worked out quite well. Maybe. But yeah, it just sort of happened, and they asked me relatively early last season, and yeah, that was it.
I know you said a lot was cut out. Alice has followed up with, was there any moment where you thought maybe this is too much, that maybe we didn't see in the filming?
I don't think I said anything too dreadful.
They didn't film any of your live streams, did they?
That had to be cut. I don't think there's anything that isn't in there that was outrageous. So, no, I think, yeah.
Okay. Unfiltered Tictum, love it. Over to Jack.
Jack Smith, Motorsport Week. Of course, one of the common goals really for this programme, from Formula E's point of view, is to make it bigger and more successful and more popular. As annoying as it would have been for all four of you to have the cameras lurking around, was their acceptance from all of you that that's kind of like what the common goal is? Because I guess that's a view you all share as well.
Yeah, I think, ultimately we want to be able to get cameras in every garage. I think that's the level what Netflix have obviously got to with Drive to Survive to take it to the next level. Just to not miss any valuable scenes, There's obviously lots of different scenarios going off in the garages after, say, mine and DaCosta's incident in Berlin. You can only get one camera in two garages, so it's difficult. So ultimately, we want more cameras, we want more people around us to be able to film the best content possible, and that's ultimately what should be the goal. If there's more seasons coming, that's hopefully what the level we can take it to.
I mean, I'm also happy for them to be everywhere, and I think it's actually, because I'm quite young in this championship, I might end up being here for quite a few years, so it's actually in my best interest that this show, promotes the series well, so...
You're not 19 anymore, mate. We're all quite old.
I've got maybe 10 years, so I'm all right.
I hope I have 10 years, man. You've got a few more.
Okay, 15 then.
No, I think, as these guys said, there was a few things that didn't make the cut. I did get married last year, and unfortunately, I was up to have the guys at the wedding, but my bride at the time said no. But no, there was some filming around planning the wedding, So yeah, if you think about coming out of Saudi last year, where I was in the bottom of my, I don't know, whatever we want to call it, but a bad moment, and I had to plan a wedding at the same time, plus have the guys with cameras in my house. Yeah, maybe sometimes I woke out of bed and I was like, I don't feel like filming today, but it's what I just told you before. I think those are the moments that people want to see. So it's important to not fake it, right? Because that's what social media is today. You open your Instagram and everybody's having the perfect life. And I think the show needs to be the opposite of that. Let's show the world what's a normal day in these guys' life, or a good day and a bad day, or whatever they go through. So yeah, sometimes we don't feel like doing it, or I don't feel like doing it, but I think those are exactly the moments that are important to show.
I haven't got much to add, but yeah, I think it took a little bit of adjusting at the start, and I'm quite a private guy, so it was strange for me at times to have cameras in your living room and watching you make a coffee and just normal things. So I think just getting more open to that and giving more access, because I feel like I probably could have given more personal access, but I just want to find that balance, obviously. But yeah, we'll see if it's a season 2 first.